This is Decarbonize the World with Frank Deline, solving the climate crisis while increasing profits in your business. Here's Frank.
Welcome back to my conversation with Steve Glenn, the founder of Plant Prefab, the first home factory in the country focused on sustainable, high-quality, urban infill construction. Steve, some may have biases towards modular and prefab homes. What are some common misunderstandings about prefab from your perspective?
I mean, the big one that we've certainly gotten is that prefab is just automatically less expensive than site build, and it turns out it depends. Sometimes it can be, and sometimes not. In fact, sometimes it can be more because transport and install can be expensive. So, if you're doing a project, I'm going to make this simple, right next to a factory. Well, your labor rates are going to be the same as the factory in general, but you got transport and install, so it may be even more expensive than it costs to do it. Now, you'll typically almost always save time because you have that parallel construction. That's a big one that, it's just automatically cheaper than site built. That is definitely not true. The appropriate answer is it depends what you're doing and where and with whom.
Excellent. Let's pull back the curtain a little bit. Who are some of these third-party entities, mainly architects, that make these plant prefab homes a reality?
We work with any architect on any design.
Okay.
Most of what we're building are not our designs. They were designed by other architects. And we have design guidelines, in fact, at our website. We have a whole section for architects, and architects can download those design guidelines. And as long as they design for them, we can build for you. And that's really our reason for being, to make it more efficient to build custom architecture. We do have standardized designs, and it's under the brand name Living Homes, and one can go to our website and see standardized single and multifamily homes and accessory dwelling units by people like Brooks Scarpa and Ray Cappy and Kieran Timberlake and Eve Bahar, a great industrial designer. And yes, we can fully customize them too. So we have the ability to do both.
So here in the Hamptons, we have our cost of building is extremely high, and our projects are they're luxury homes. As a custom builder, we don't like to talk about cost per square foot. How about you? Are you able to talk about cost per square foot when you speak to people, or is it pretty much based on what that design is?
I mean, we can say things like, in the factory right now, projects cost between $250 and $275 per square foot, and that's just our costs, FOB. That's not transport, install, site costs. Now we're doing 90% plus of the project of the vertical in the factories, because we're in our mods, we're installing all finished plumbing and electrical and appliances and millwork and tiles and stuff like that. So that covers a lot of the home, but still a lot of other costs too.
Good. That's actually a very reasonable cost compared to what we're doing here. I mean, we're looking at starting around $450 a square foot, and it goes up from there.
Yeah, but is that all in, or is that just factory FOB?
Well, I mean, we're building on site, right? So that's not including property. That's just the construction cost, and it usually includes landscaping. All turnkey.
Right.
Labor is extremely expensive here, so that's one of the factors.
Right.
So where have you been building homes using the plant prefab model? Is it mostly California?
Mostly California. We've got a big hospitality project right now in Winter Park, Colorado, and another project in Colorado. And we built in other states too, though, but it's mostly been California.
Okay. As a country, we can't do this alone. When it comes to decarbonizing the world, talk to me about plant prefab's future in international markets.
We hope to go there. I mean, we haven't made any announcements. Not much to say other than we think the demand for what we do is international in scope, right? One thing that's unique about our model, we mostly work with third-party architects on their own designs. what's important about that statement, we're not trying to disintermediate architects. We think that the tens of thousands of architects in the U.S. who design for the Santa Monicas and Oaklands and Portlands and Somervilles, we think they're great because they understand local vernacular, local construction materials, local permitting needs. We want to empower them, not replace them. And the bet we've made is that by giving them and frankly their clients a better way, and what's better, faster, lower cost, more sustainable, healthier, higher quality, ideally some combination of all that, we'll be able to get more great architecture built from great architects around the country. And then that same model applies internationally, right? The same idea. We're not going to try to displace them or say, hey, we know in Santa Monica, where our design studio is, how to do better design for you in Brazil or Mexico or Canada or Germany. We'll work with local architects who really know the local market.
Excellent. So in closing, Steve, I believe that we can preserve our planet while benefiting businesses. So let's talk about that. What is it like building a company like this, finding investors, putting a team around you, and making Plant Prefab a solution to our problems?
Well, let's see. Startups are hard. Most businesses fail. Most startups fail. I've done a number of them. Some have worked out. Some haven't.
Right.
We're a venture finance startup. So, if you take venture money, they're focused less on creating a profitable business that you can sustain over decades, that spins out money. Venture funds don't know how to deal with that. They're focused on, ideally within their fund time frame, could be 7 years, could be longer, you'll go public or get sold, and they get their money back ideally at 10 times their rate. But they know that 7, 8 of them out of 10 will fail, and we're focused on the venture track. We're trying to create a big business. We think we have national or international potential, but it's never easy creating a successful scaling business. So far, so good with us, but we don't take any of it for granted.
Right. Excellent. So, Steve, where can we find out about your company and, if we want to build a house?
PlantPrefab.com. Lots of information there. There's sections for developers, for individuals, and we work with both on single family, on multifamily, on multi-unit. Our biggest project's a 37-unit project near Lake Tahoe, and you can see examples of all of that at PlantPrefab.com, as well as standard homes we offer through the Living Homes line.
Great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. He's Steve Glenn, the founder and CEO of Plant Prefab. And that wraps up another episode of Decarbonize the World. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, make sure you take a second to subscribe so you automatically get my new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I'd love if you left me a review so more folks like yourself can discover the show. Until next time, take care.
This has been Decarbonize the World with Frank Deline. To connect with Frank and to learn more about clean energy, reducing fossil fuels, and increasing profits, go to frankdeline.com. Decarbonize the World is a production of Advantage Audio.